Hello and welcome to the Middle School Bookmarker Super Quick Read Aloud Show. This episode we're checking out The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. We're going to start off our passage preview with a very exciting Chapter 1. It is titled How Nobody Came to the Graveyard. There was a hand in the darkness, and it held a knife. The knife had a handle of polished black bone, and a blade finer and sharper than any razor. If it sliced you, you might not even know you had been cut. Not immediately. The knife had done almost everything it was brought to that house to do, and both the blade and the handle were wet. The street door was still open just a little, where the knife and the man who held it had slipped in, and wisps of nighttime mist slithered and twined into the house through the open door. The man Jack paused on the landing. With his left hand, he pulled a large white handkerchief from the pocket of his black coat, and with it he wiped off the knife and his gloved right hand, which had been holding it. Then he put the handkerchief away. The hunt was almost over. He had left the woman in her bed, the man on the bedroom floor, the older child in her brightly colored bedroom, surrounded by toys and half-finished models. That only left the little one, a baby, barely a toddler, to take care of. One more, and his task would be done. He flexed his fingers. The man Jack was, above all things, a professional, or so he told himself, and he would not allow himself to smile until the job was completed. His hair was dark, and his eyes were dark, and he wore black leather gloves of the thinnest lambskin. The toddler's room was at the very top of the house. The man Jack walked up the stairs, his feet silent on the carpeting. Then he pushed open the attic door, and he walked in. His shoes were black leather, and they were polished to such a shine that they looked like dark mirrors. You could see the moon reflected in them, tiny and half full. The moon shone through the casement window. Its light was not bright, and it was diffused by the mist, but the man Jack would not need much light. The moonlight was enough. It would do. He could make out the shape of the child in the crib, head and limbs and torso. The crib had high slatted sides to prevent the child from getting out. Jack leaned over, raised his right hand, the one holding the knife, and he aimed for the chest. And then he lowered his hand. The shape in the crib was a teddy bear. There was no child. Well, that was a little bit of an intense passage preview, huh? Let's take a look at what Common Sense Media has to say. They say the book is appropriate for ages 9+. They give it a 4 out of 5 stars, and they describe it as a tale of a boy raised by ghosts, and it is both creepy and warm-hearted. And now we see from Amazon, it's got over 6,500 ratings at 4.5 stars, and it is a teacher's pick. We've got the back of the book summary coming up next, but first, if you're an educator, here are some Common Core standards that you could connect to a read aloud like this. And here is our back of the book blurb. It takes a graveyard to raise a child. Nobody Owens, known as Bod, is a normal boy. He would be completely normal if he didn't live in a graveyard, being raised by ghosts with a guardian who belongs to neither the world of the living nor the dead. There are adventures in the graveyard for a boy, an ancient indigo man, a gateway to the abandoned city of ghouls, the strange and terrible Sleer. But if Bod leaves the graveyard, he will be in danger from the man Jack, who has already killed Bod's family. The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman is a horror book. It is 320 pages long, and the audiobook is 8 hours. All right, let's wrap this baby up. Moment of truth. Is this book for you? First thing you want to ask yourself is, are you interested in the plot and the characters, and do you want to know more about what happens? Second, can you comfortably read this all by yourself? And some curiosity fuel. How did you feel as you read the description of the man Jack in the house? My heart was certainly pumping. And finally, the back of the book summary mentions that Bod is raised by ghosts in the graveyard. What kinds of problems might Bod face because of this? Thank you so much for checking out that book with me. Hopefully by now you know if this is a good match for you. Please click like and subscribe and whatever other good stuff YouTube throws down there, and check out some of the other book previews and read-alongs that we have on the Middle School Bookmarkers YouTube channel. See you later.